An East Nashville donut shop broken into not once, not twice, but 3 times.
Well, it makes you think, this is not a sustainable business model.
How the community is lifting up this small business.
And a guessing game for some third-grade parents, why they say a lack of information from mid-state school districts could force their children to repeat 3rd grade.
A mid-state mystery more than 2 decades after Tabitha Tudor's vanish. The picture many hope will help solve the case. Fox 17 News at 9 starts now.
Middle Tennessee's only primetime news. This is Fox 17 News at 9, your Code Red station.
We begin tonight in a Fox 17 News Code Red weather alert for potential storms tomorrow.
Well, they could affect part of your weekend plans. Fox 17 Code Red Chief Meteorologist Katie Morgan tracking that system for us.
Yeah, this is going to be a low threat, but not a zero threat, as I like to say. So making sure that we're all aware as we head into the weekend here. And mainly for those along and west of 65, I think that's going to be where the slightly higher risk for severe weather is. Rain will be around tomorrow morning, but the best threat for severe weather will likely be in the afternoon, about 2 to 10 p.m. Wind and hail, the main concerns here. I can't completely rule out a spin-up tornado just because we have a lot of wind in the atmosphere, not only at the surface but in higher levels, and that's what can help spin some of these storms. In addition to that, some isolated flooding will be possible. We've got lots of rain coming in over the next several days. So again, it's a level 1 risk out of 5. That is the lowest on our scale, and most of it is along and west of I-65. And that'll be the story as we head through mainly the afternoon hours. Now, there is rain moving in now through West Tennessee, and throughout the overnight, we will start to see more of these showers move our way. Severe weather again not expected for the morning hours, but we will likely see rain around. That rain actually may play a role in the potential for severe weather later in the day on Saturday. But timing out showers, it's going to be off and on, unfortunately, all day. Not the best day to be out and about. But there will be some dry times, a little bit better chance by lunchtime or so, and then more showers and storms possible as we head into the afternoon. We'll walk you through timing with Future Track coming up in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast.
I think the timeline, Caitlin, is completely unrealistic.
Tonight in Crisis in the Classroom, school is out, but some mid-state families are still waiting to find out if their child passed the TCAP retest. 3rd graders need to pass that to advance to 4th grade.
Well, they can take summer school, but in some districts that's already underway. Fox 17 News, Caitlin Miller joining us live in North Nashville after speaking with education leaders who now blame the state. Caitlin.
Yes, well, we spoke with a few education leaders today, and they say that the state's timeline puts way too much pressure on local school districts to receive these test results, turn it around, and then notify the families about summer school.
3rd and 4th graders took the TCAP exam from mid-March to mid-April, but it took time to get the results. Those who failed were given a retest.
The data comes in. This year it came in on May 20th, and some schools were dismissing May 21st.
J.C. Bowman, the CEO of Professional Educators of Tennessee, says that isn't enough time for school districts to determine which students need summer school. Mary Badawala, former assistant commissioner with the Tennessee Department of Education, says the timeline puts too much pressure on local districts.
In terms of doing the calculations, making the determination of who needs to retest, executing the retest, and then processing retest results and notifying parents and students about what needs to happen next.
Badawala explains smaller school districts don't have the resources to do it in such a quick turnaround period.
Executing this process at a time in the year when school is coming to a close, teachers are heading out for vacation, it takes a lot of work, and it's not something that can just be done quickly.
Badawala and Bowman both believe the state needs to step up and do more to help these districts.
And I think the state could alleviate a lot of problems by changing the deadline, the timeline around, and making notification a lot quicker and getting data back to teachers.
Because Bowman emphasizes the state still hasn't released any numbers indicating how many students need to go to summer school.
And we reached out to the State Department of Education to see if they would consider an earlier testing period, and we will let you know what we learn. Reporting live from North Nashville, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Caitlin, thank you. Crisis in the Classroom is Fox 17 News' commitment to exposing problems in our schools and finding solutions. If you have a story that you think we should cover, send us an email to news@fox17.com. You can also call our tip line. The number's right there on your screen, 615-266-4149.
And before we leave this topic, we want to know what you think. Do you think Tennessee schools should be required to inform parents if their third graders fail the TCAP retest before the start of summer school? 316 votes, 97.5% say yes, they need that information. Polls live right now. If you'd like to cast your vote, scan the QR code on the right-hand side of your screen. It will link you to our poll, and we'll update the results for you coming up on Fox 17 News at 10. In Operation Crime and Justice, video of a break-in at an East Nashville donut shop. This place was hit 3 times in the same week. Fox 17 News' Amanda Chen spoke with the owner about this frustrating string of burglaries.
A community's love for small businesses can make a big impact. And when something bad happens to a particular business, people continue to show up, especially at East Park Donuts and Coffee.
There's nothing quite like the smell of fresh donuts and coffee, and it's definitely in the air as soon as you walk into East Park Donuts and Coffee in East Nashville. But it hasn't been an easy go-around for this small business that's been in the neighborhood since 2018. This past week, someone's broken into Ken Woodard's shop 3 different times.
Well, it makes you think, this is not a sustainable business model. Whatever, every week you get $6,000 worth of damage.
You heard that right, $6,000 worth of damage. Surveillance video of inside the shop shows each incident. The first break-in on May 23rd, you can see the suspect walking through the shattered glass. The second incident on May 27th, this time you can see the suspect breaking through another glass entrance with the other window boarded up, walking right in and grabbing cash. The third break-in on May 30th, the suspected crook, again, walking through broken glass to gain entry, stealing cash.
There was one guy here that every morning he's been here, he's like, "You got hit again? Oh my gosh," he's like, real sympathetic.
The owner is happy with Metro Police's help so far. When I called Metro Police, a spokesperson told me no one's been arrested yet, and the owner can work with the East Precinct if the shop would like more police patrols in that area.
Last night we did implement some changes with our cash, but we didn't do it last night. But we have done that.
Woodard already has several security cameras inside his business. And while it makes him think twice sometimes about being in this location, he's staying put for now.
Unfortunately, East Park Donuts hasn't had the best of luck. In 2020, the tornado blew off the shop's roof, and in 2022, a car crashed through the front of the entrance. But through it all, everyone is staying positive. Reporting in the studio, I'm Amanda Chen, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
In your education news, 35 Metro students headed overseas this summer to study abroad. The students and their chaperones leave tomorrow and will travel to France, Germany, and Argentina. They'll stay with host families and immerse themselves in local culture for 2 weeks. Sister Cities of Nashville plans to host students from those same countries later this year.
Up next, growing.
In Operation Crime and Justice, one man still in critical condition after police say that another man stabbed him at a WeGo bus stop. As Fox 17 News' Peyton Muse shows us, this now marks the 3rd violent attack at WeGo locations here in just a matter of days.
2 stabbings, 1 shooting in the last 10 days, all happening on WeGo grounds. Now people are calling for public transportation safety to be addressed immediately.
Thursday morning, police say 31-year-old Jacob Boswell stabbed 63-year-old Willard Wheaton multiple times at the WeGo bus stop on 12th Avenue South and Edge Hill after a fight broke out. The affidavit says witnesses heard screaming and saw Boswell attacking the homeless man and tried to step in and help. Boswell faces a criminal homicide felony charge. Some of Darius Knight's family works for WeGo, and he used to ride public transit. Not so much anymore. Now he advocates for public transit riders and employees.
The CEO, the COO, and the safety officer, they need to honestly resign. And I feel that the MTA board needs to step up and start listening, because I warned them in April in that board meeting about the safety. They ignored it.
Knight says it wasn't until last week when the board seemed to listen.
And that's not to say that they're not concerned, but unanimously, I didn't feel that energy from them in April. And I felt like that's what I should have been getting from them in 2022 when I actually brought up the safety concerns of Central then.
30-year-old Derica Scavalli faces attempted murder charges. She's accused of stabbing a Wego bus driver last week. That same week, convicted felon 19-year-old Dejuan Prime is accused of shooting a 20-year-old after an argument on Wego's downtown terminal steps. When asked last week about the violence, Wego CEO Stephen Bland says this is rare.
The proximity and time of these two extremely serious and disturbing incidents is highly unusual. Certainly it's not reflective of the overall safety of the system.
The former bus rider disagrees.
We were starting to notice a pattern initially, 3 to 4 days, because unfortunately the CEO and the mayor seem to believe that these are rare occurrences, and they are not.
Mayor Freddie O'Connell's office says it's a priority to ensure Wego facilities are safe for everyone, bus drivers, passengers, and the public.
The mayor's office says they're working with leadership at Wego, with Metro Police, and at the state level to ensure that this is not a larger, widespread trend that we're seeing. And this comes as the North Nashville Transit Center is set to open in June. Reporting downtown, Peyton Muse, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
In health news tonight, an estimated 1 in 13 children in this country have food allergies. Nuts can be some of the most dangerous allergic reactions, but a new study suggests a way to help reduce the risk of nut allergies is, well, an idea that will keep them from ever developing.
An allergic reaction to nuts can impair breathing and send you into shock. While there's no cure, a new study suggests peanut allergies can be avoided by feeding children peanut products when they're infants.
Not only does that prevent peanut allergy in early childhood, but that effect is actually persistent.
Dr. Drew Bird is an allergy specialist with the American Academy of Pediatrics. He recommends parents give peanut products to babies starting between 4 and 6 months.
That effect of giving that frequent exposure to peanut early in life was really persistent and effective, and really saved many of these children who were at high risk of having peanut allergy from having that lifelong disease.
Dr. Bird says parents should start children on solid foods like soft or pureed fruits and vegetables. Once they can tolerate that, he says introduce thinned out peanut butter.
Mix it with either breast milk or water or the child's formula or a vegetable or fruit puree, and get it really soft and soupy, so like those stage 1 consistencies that we feed our children.
Dr. Bird says start small and gradually increase the amount. Researchers recommend parents work up to 6 grams of peanut products a week until age 5, but consistency is key.
Once you get it in there, keep it in the diet, and that it can have really lifetime benefit.
Dr. Bird says there is also peanut flour and snacks like peanut puffs that can also help to safely introduce infants to peanut products.
All right, chance of storms impacting our weekend plans. Going ahead and calling the code red weather alert.
Yeah, and this is going to be a low-end threat for severe weather, but it is going to be impactful weather in the way of just a stormy weekend ahead, unfortunately, for any outdoor plans that you have in place. We take a look at the weekend planner to start off, and temperatures I think are going to be a little cooler tomorrow due to the fact that we've got these clouds and showers around for much of the day. Off and on rain expected. If you have any outdoor plans, if you're going somewhere and you're going to be outdoors for any period of time, I'd go ahead and bring an umbrella at least. Make sure you have that ready to go. And then on Sunday, same thing. We'll continue to find some dry time, but also decent chance for showers and storms around. Temperatures will be a little bit warmer on Sunday too. Our outlook again for Saturday, most of this should be along and west of 65, wind, hail, and maybe a spin-up tornado possible. The tornado risk is pretty low, but we have to keep an eye out for it. There's a lot of spin in the atmosphere, and that alone could possibly help rotate some of these storms. But the severe weather risk in general is fairly low. There's a lot of limitations for tomorrow, which makes me question whether or not we will actually get those severe thunderstorms. But if we see more sunshine, it's possible. So I want to make sure that we're letting you know that, and that you're at least staying aware throughout the day tomorrow. We're working with a little instability for much of the afternoon. The sunshine would definitely help bring in more storm energy, but right now it's not looking like we've got a lot of energy to work with. And also, the more rain we see in the morning, the better for us here. Would help lessen our severe weather risk in the afternoon. So again, it's possible, but the threat remains low and a little uncertain at this point. As we go through the overnight into tomorrow morning, you can see showers starting to fill into West Tennessee and then into Middle Tennessee closer to about 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. Severe weather not a problem for tomorrow morning. Notice though, as we head through 9 to noon, we continue to find scattered showers around. Not much sunshine peeking through those clouds just yet. If that were to happen, I think it'll be just after lunchtime through about 3, 4 o'clock. This is 2 o'clock here. And you can see there are some dry areas of real estate, and that would help bring in a little bit more energy if that sunshine were able to pop out. But it looks like our coverage of storms will be fairly consistent throughout the day. So here's 4 o'clock. I would say that these would need to be monitored at least for severe potential, with some heavy pockets of rain as well expected. The downside is to it helping the more rain helping to lessen our severe weather risk is the fact that it'll bring in more rain for us. It's not something we really need. We've had a pretty stormy May. So by the evening hours, we're still looking at pockets of rain that'll be around, and that should continue as we go into the evening. Here's 10 p.m. and then eventually as we head through the overnight, we'll look at those showers to clear for Sunday morning. Now Sunday morning, midday, we'll start to see more shower chances build in once again. A lot of this happening after lunchtime and then into the early part of the afternoon. You can see 4 p.m. more of these pockets of rain popping up. Heavy rain will be possible with any one of these storms. Not expecting severe weather on Sunday. That's the way it's looking right now. And again, staying dry at least for the beginning of the day on Monday. And we're going to do it all over again in the afternoon. So we're kind of swinging more into a summer-like pattern as we head towards the second half of the weekend and into early next week. If you're new to the area, basically just means area showers and storms for the afternoon with the sunshine, daytime heating, heavy rain possible, maybe a gust of wind, but generally looking at low severe weather risks as we head more into the summer months. We'll talk more about how much rain we could end up with. That coming up a little later in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast.
The historic conviction of former President Trump triggering an outburst of political reaction. I'm Atrell Nashar with how it could impact voters come November.
Continuing coverage now as reaction to former President Trump being found guilty of falsifying business records to cover up an alleged affair continues to pour in.
Well, the race for the White House hinges on how this plays out. And as Fox 17 News' Atra El-Nashar reports, both the Trump and Biden campaigns are urging supporters to vote. By the way, you can let us know what you think by scanning a QR code that will appear here shortly on your screen during this story.
An angry former president and now convicted felon sounding off from Trump Tower Friday morning.
This is a scam. There's a rigged trial. So we're going to show them that we're going to fight. It's actually, I don't know, it's something where I'm wired in such a way that a lot of people would have gone away a long time ago.
Both the Trump and Biden campaigns were quick to fundraise off the verdict, Trump calling himself a political prisoner despite not being sentenced yet. His campaign claims to have raised almost $35 million Thursday. The Biden team tells supporters there is still only one way to keep Donald Trump out of the Oval Office, at the ballot box. The president saying this from the White House.
Now he'll be given the opportunity, as he should, to appeal that decision just like everyone else has that opportunity. And it's reckless. It's dangerous. It's irresponsible for anyone to say this was rigged just because they don't like the verdict.
As for whether it helps or hurts Trump's chances in November, it's anyone's guess.
I mean, I'm hearing people say, I had no intention of voting for Donald Trump, and now I am.
Let's not underestimate that there is a problem. Think about this. Those numbers are like 11%.
less likely to vote for him.
We will make America strong again.
The verdict is expected to energize Trump's base, so the question is, will it sway swing voters? Polls give mixed answers. According to an NPR PBS Marist poll released Thursday morning, well, 2/3 of overall voters say it won't make a difference. 11% of independent voters say they'd be less likely to vote for him if found guilty in the New York case. 15% said it would make them more likely. July 11th is the sentencing hearing for this case, and then Trump's team can start the appeal process. But before that, Trump's conviction is sure to be a central focus in the first presidential debate set for June 27th. In Washington, I'm Atra El-Nashar.
Well, during that story, we had a QR code posted up with this poll asking the question, do you agree with the jury's decision to convict Donald Trump? And here are the results. Just over 750 people have weighted. 79.8% say no, they do not agree with the jury's decision to convict Donald Trump, compared to just 20.2% that say yes.
New tonight, the fight between former heavyweight champion Mike Tyson and YouTube tough guy Jake Paul is being postponed. The 57-year-old Tyson fell ill on an airline flight last weekend. Tyson's camp attributing it to an episode, to an ulcer problem. Now, because of Tyson's training having been interrupted, the July 20th fight with Paul being pushed back. Don't know exactly when, but we're told a new date for the fight will be announced next week.
Well, she disappeared from a Nashville bus stop at age 13 and has been missing now for
Myers Furniture.
In Operation Crime and Justice, watching their daughter grow up through age progression. Tabitha Tudors went missing in Nashville 21 years ago, here at the age of 13. Today, this is what she may look like at the age of 34. Her case featured this afternoon at CrimeCon.
It's hard because we think about her every day.
April 29th, 2003. It started as an ordinary Tuesday in Nashville before it quickly became the worst day of Deborah Tudors' life. Her daughter, 13-year-old Tabitha Tudors, left home that morning, headed for the school bus like she always did, but she never got on the bus, never made it to school, and was never seen or heard from again. 21 years later, it's instinctual. Deborah, like any mother, still hangs on to every bit of hope that still lives inside her.
I know that there's a 50-50 chance that she may not be with us anymore, but I try not to go that far, because I still believe in my heart that she's still alive. I just feel like if she wasn't, I would feel it and know, But I feel like she's still here.
Deborah, making sure her daughter's name, face, and story still circulates, teamed up with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Together, they unveiled what Tabitha might look like today, more than 2 decades later. Forensic imaging specialist Joe Mullins presented Tabitha's story Friday at CrimeCon at the Gaylord Opryland, showing how they used age progression to predict what Tabitha would look like today based on photos of her parents when they were a similar age.
She's grown up on our computer screen, and I think probably every artist, we have 4 full-time artists there, I think every artist has been involved with this case. And age progression is a hope-based image. And we're ultimately hoping to get that child back home where they belong. We're also hoping that the right person sees it, because they don't work unless the right person sees it.
Well, the FBI is offering a $50,000 reward for information that leads to Tabitha's whereabouts and the prosecution for the person responsible for her disappearance.
It's your money, and records show Metro city government here in Nashville spent millions of your dollars over the last few years to settle lawsuits. Our partners at OpenTheBooks.com crunched the numbers. They found the largest settlement connected to a police case, a wrongful conviction, and a 2003 manslaughter. After serving 18 years behind bars, the city wrote a $1.2 million check to Paul Shane Garrett, who didn't do it.
A police officer sued the department for sexual harassment. She got a $500,000 settlement. And then there were a few more for about $1 million or $500,000.
Now, dozens of settlements like that. Certainly a lot of money, but Open the Book says similar-sized cities spend a lot more over the very same period. It cites Las Vegas, where the police department alone was linked to $16 million in settlements in the past 2 years.
Continuing coverage, the Trump team preparing to appeal yesterday's guilty verdict. Tonight, Fox 17 News' Kayla Gaskins gives us more of a sense of the legal fallout of Donald Trump's conviction.
Donald Trump's felony conviction in Manhattan. Justice served or a kangaroo court. It depends who you ask.
I feel it's such a sweet vindication of the rule of law.
There's a lot that's happened over the past year that I think that Americans should look very hard at.
Critics taking issue with the charges themselves. Misdemeanors. DA Alvin Bragg ramped up to felonies.
There's no crime here. Nobody can figure out what the actual crime is.
And the judge, who the defense argues should have recused himself due to a conflict of interest with his daughter's company. But he didn't, and often ruled in the prosecution's favor.
He wouldn't allow us to have witnesses. He wouldn't allow us to talk. He wouldn't allow us to do anything.
Leading to allegations this is Democrats weaponizing the justice system against a Republican presidential candidate.
I woke up heartbroken for our country because the precedent set is that if you don't like somebody's politics, you should use the American system of law and order to try and destroy them. That's 250 years of legal tradition. The Biden folks are tearing it up to win an election, Wolf. That is what really bothers me.
On the other side, Democrats say this shows no one, not even presidents, are above the law.
I think we can feel proud that the system of justice and the rule of law within liberal democracy has survived.
Never Trump former Republicans agree.
This wasn't masterminded by Joe Biden. It's not the deep state. You were just a jury of Donald Trump's peers in New York, looked at the evidence of the crimes he committed and found him guilty.
But some worry about the precedent just set.
We're going to see retaliation. We're going to see local DAs around the country start to indict Democrats and get local juries to do tit for tat.
House Judiciary Chair Jim Jordan now demanding Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg testify about Trump's prosecution before Congress on June 13th. On Capitol Hill, I'm Kayla Gaskins. And our Code Red Alert again, tracking the potential for a few strong thunderstorms as we go into the afternoon and evening for Saturday. Wind will be the primary threat there, but also looking at pockets of heavy rain that'll be around, and we'll continue to see a stormy pattern as we head through the weekend. Out the door tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Showers likely for us here in Nashville as well as Clarksville, maybe even a few rumbles of thunder, but not expecting severe weather to be an issue for the morning hours. The better threat for that will come in the afternoon. Temperatures in Crossville right around 59 degrees with a mostly cloudy sky. Rain will be around off and on through the day on Saturday as we take you through Saturday morning, midday, and then into Saturday night, early Sunday, with a few more showers and storms possible as we head through Sunday afternoon. We'll walk you through the rain amounts across Middle Tennessee coming up in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast.
In sports, the Titans wrapped up OTAs this week and now have their sights set on next week in the mandatory minicamp.
And as Fox 17 Sports Director Jill Jelnick explains, while the Titans offense has been all the talk this offseason, the secondary also got a major makeover.
Titans rebuilding their secondary this offseason, signing veteran cornerbacks L'Jarius Sneed and Chidobe Awuzie. Awuzie is very familiar with head coach Brian Callahan, having spent the last 3 seasons with the Cincinnati Bengals. But his favorite part of this new team? Defensive coordinator Denard Wilson. Awuzie saying that Wilson brings a certain level of intensity every single day and sets the tone on the defense. He says that Coach Wilson challenges every player on that unit to match his intensity, match his aggressiveness, so that when it comes game day, that transitions to their play on the field.
It starts with Coach Wilson right now, just setting a new defense, setting the standard. It's everybody's matching each other's intensity. Right now, he's the one who's really setting the tone in the meeting room. Then we got to come out here and match his intensity. At some point, us players, when we get comfortable with the system, we're going to be the ones setting the tone and the intensity, and the team going to have to match us. So we're still on that path, and it's a long road to be, but everybody has that same vision in mind, that aggressiveness, but we just got to get there. We far away right now, but we're going to get there.
Yeah, that guy's no joke. I'm not going to lie. He really come with aggressiveness. You can tell just from the meetings and on the field,
whenever we make a decision or we make a bad play, he's on our butt. Like he really into the game. You can tell he loves it. He really competitive, and I feel like the plays and like the defense style he brings in is great for us because it's a whole new mindset, it's a whole new beginning, and I feel like that's great for us.
One familiar face that returns to the Titans secondary is cornerback Roger McCrary. McCrary enters his third year with the team and was a primary slot defender last year. Now, the Titans didn't have a lot of press coverage on defense last season, and that will change under new defensive coordinator Denard Wilson. Wilson promising a more aggressive mindset on defense with a lot more press coverage, which is something McCrary is excited to be a part of.
Yeah, that's one of the first things, like Denard said, his corner is going to press. His guys is going to be aggressive. We're going to attack them first, and I feel like that's what we need. I feel like the offense needs to feel that pressure on them, and I feel like that's great.
There's a huge need for guys to play that nickel spot in the NFL, the way the teams are. You're playing 60%, sometimes more of your snaps in your nickel defense, and he's involved in the run fit, which Roger is really tough and gritty when it comes to those things. So having those guys out there that sort of let him know that you can play this way and be successful is encouraging. So I'm excited to see what that brings for him.
Titans have been in organized team activities the last 2 weeks, which is voluntary, but we have not seen cornerback L'Jarius Sneed on the field yet. That may change next week as the Titans enter their mandatory minicamp starting on Tuesday. Reporting from Titans practice facility, Jill Jelnick, Fox 17 Sports, your Code Red station.
Coming up, talking more about our threat for rain as we head into the weekend and how much we...
Red weather app.
In science and technology tonight, a Google document leak appears to shed light on how the tech giant decides what content you see and don't see.
Fox 17 News' Kayla Gaskins looks into how Google's search engine works, and we want to hear from you what you think about this story. Just scan the QR code that will appear shortly on your screen.
It's one of the internet's greatest mysteries. How exactly does one get a website to the top of a Google search, or at least appear on the first page?
The algorithm is something that most companies hide. It's essentially their secret sauce.
A recent leak of internal company documents appears to, at least partially, lift the veil on how Google search ranks websites. Experts say some of the data in the documents appears to contradict what Google says publicly about how the engine works.
We've been lied to. The truth needs to come out.
For example, Google appears to factor in the number of clicks a page gets while ranking a website rather than how reputable a source is. Google has previously denied using this method. It's a method critics say helps spread disinformation. For decades, companies, news organizations, nonprofits, and politicians have spent millions, if not billions of dollars to master Google in order to get their message or product the most views.
I know companies that literally could live and die because margins are so razor thin based upon what page they are on.
Search engine optimization consultant Irfam Azimi obtained the 2,500 pages of documents and pushed to have them published, arguing the public deserves transparency from Google.
So webmasters and business owners can make better business decisions on optimizing for Google search.
We reached out to Google. The spokesperson sent us a statement saying we would caution against making inaccurate assumptions about search based on out of context, outdated, or incomplete information. In Washington, I'm Kayla Gaskins.
Well, during that story, we had a QR code posted up with this poll asking the question, do you trust big tech? The results right there on your screen, 336 people weighing in, and a whopping 97% of respondents say no. You do not trust big tech, compared to just 3% that say they do.
Back to weather now. Tomorrow, Saturday, which means it is going to rain.
Yep, most likely. Unfortunately, it does look like a pretty decent shot at some showers, maybe some rumbles of thunder by the morning, and then the potential for a few strong storms in the afternoon. That's why we're in code red. So
three weekends in a row by my count.
Yes, it has been very soggy, especially from May in general. It's just been pretty stormy for us, and We've got more rain on the way as we head into the first week of June here. Tomorrow, June 1st, in fact. Live look on Broadway. Folks out and about enjoying downtown this evening here. Take a look off to the west, and we've got showers that are pushing in here from Arkansas, Mississippi, and West Tennessee. So by tomorrow morning, we will be looking at a decent amount of rain coming through Middle Tennessee, and we'll stick around off and on throughout the day. And again, the more rain we've seen in the morning, it may actually help our situation for severe weather in the afternoon, where it would limit the potential. So it's a low threat, but it is something we'll want to make sure that we are keeping an eye on. I mentioned those rain chances that are going to be pretty I'd say large over the next couple of days, at least decent chances for it. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all looking at good chances for rain. They should remain scattered across the area, but we may start to run into some localized flooding concerns given the fact that we have all these chances and some locations picking up more rain after another rain after another rain. The ground can't take too much more, so we'll be on the lookout for some isolated flooding concerns. But as we head towards the end of next week, good news is right now it looks like our rain chances remain small. Good news being that it's CMA-Fest next week. So hopefully we can keep the rain away as we head towards the late part of next week. Here's a look at how much rain we could potentially see through the weekend. This takes us through Sunday morning. So all day Saturday, again, the best chance for some of those strongest thunderstorms are going to be west of 65, and that lines up pretty well with some of the heavy rain as well. So maybe an inch, possibly close to 2 inches in some spots, a little less as we head east toward the Cumberland Plateau. Then more showers coming sort of in a popcorn variety for Sunday. We'll add a little bit more to the rain gauge. So by Monday morning, we could be looking at anywhere between 1 to 2 inches area wide, with those higher amounts likely to the west. Then we take a look here at our 8 to 14 day temperature outlook. This is going to be from the 8th of June now to the 14th. Still signals showing temperatures well below average, possibly for a good chunk of the U.S., including the Great Lake region into the Mid-South as well, and here in Nashville. So that would be good to see. Temperatures staying a little cooler than average. Average right now being low 80s, so could see some 70s coming our way. And then as far as rain chances go, we'll give it an equal chance, we call it, where we don't see strong signals either way for above or below average rainfall. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast. 80s a story. We will warm up in the short term here going into Monday and Tuesday of next week. Unfortunately, too, with all those showers and storms around, it's going to feel humid. So hot and sticky conditions expected through Wednesday. We'll start to
Durham Injury Law.
In consumer news, plastic chemicals may have made their way inside some of your favorite foods. Consumer Reports says their testing discovered that some General Mills products contain a plastic chemical that can increase the risk of things like diabetes, cancer, and cardiovascular disease. Those chemicals are used to make plastics more flexible and more durable. 30,000 people have now signed a petition asking the company to fix the problem.
Well, if you love Cheez-Its or music, it's your chance to get a rare collectible here. The limited edition Cheez-It Jukebox, now up for sale on eBay. The jukebox was previously part of the brand's temporary Cheez-In Diner experience in Woodstock, New York. The theme music player only accepts Cheez-It crackers in exchange for a catalog of retro music from the 50s and 60s. All proceeds will go to the New York education system.
I've seen it on a commercial. I guess you can like stick a Cheez-It in there like you would like a coin in an old jukebox. And I understand the bids are up to like $3 grand.
Oh,
so
my.
if you want it, bring your checkbook.
What was the story we did with something underwater a couple weeks ago?
The vending machine?
What was it?
The vending machine.
Yeah.
I know, but what did it spit out? What kind of
something like
was it
Cheez-Its
Airheads or something?
I believe it was
Airheads. That's
right.
right. Yeah.
Those are kind of
Oh,
cool.
man.
This is cool too.
Yeah, very neat.
All right. Well, Jeep is hoping you'll think this is cool. They're hoping to electrify vehicle sales in this country. The new model coming to a showroom near you.
Well, a new all-electric Jeep is set to hit the roads this fall. Starting at $72,000, the Wagoneer is equipped with 2 electric motors that can generate up to 600 horsepower. The off-roading automaker is hoping to reverse national trends of declining electric vehicle sales with its new model.
Looking ahead to Sunday now, in Nashville in focus, when the topics for our panel will include allegations Metro Police higher-ups lobbied state lawmakers to essentially defang what is Nashville's Community Review Board.
If you have nothing to hide, let them look. And that has always been the frame of work that I operate in when it comes to policing, when it comes to our MMPD.
If I was the chief, I wouldn't want the Citizens Review Board going around investigating things that happen. We have people to do that. And I disagree with my good friend Jasper. I wish the board didn't exist.
Now, other topics include WeGo bus safety after a recent rash of violent crimes and how incidents of violence are impacting Nashville's reputation with tourists. That is Sunday morning at 6:30 and Sunday night at 10:30 on Nashville in Focus.
I'm Janae Bones in Washington with a brewing complicated coffee controversy over decaf.
This is Kevin Hines, the Golden Gate Bridge behind him. He jumped off it in a suicide attempt and lived to tell. I'm Liz Bonas. His mission now, just ahead.
This is Fox 17 News at 10, your Code Red station.
Well, Fox 17 News at 10 begins in a Code Red weather alert because of the threat of severe weather. Small threat tomorrow.
Well, this is a level 1 out of 5 threat with damaging wind and hail possible west of I-65. Fox 17 Chief Code Red meteorologist Katie Morgan helping us break down the timing and what you need to know to be prepared, especially impacting weekend plans maybe.
Yeah, unfortunately, this looks to be afternoon, about 2 p.m. on through the evening hours, but we'll see rain likely in the morning. So it's going to be a stormy weekend all around, I'm afraid. And timing again for severe potential will be in the afternoon, evening. We'll see wind as the primary threat here, along with some hail and heavy rain. I cannot completely rule out the potential for a spin-up tornado, but it's not as likely. And again, should be stormy off and on throughout much of the day. Now, that greatest risk does look to be along and west of I-65 for the most part here. That's going to be where slightly better ingredients are for any strong thunderstorm to develop if it does. We've got rain already moving into West Tennessee, and I do expect scattered showers for the morning tomorrow. May even hear a few rumbles of thunder along the way, but no severe weather expected for the morning hours here. Timing out the rain, you can see that we have a good chance for showers throughout the afternoon. If you have any plans this weekend, on Saturday at least, that are outdoors, I would bring the umbrella. It's going to be one of those days. It's just better to have it than not. We'll talk more about the storm potential and talk about some of the limiting factors coming up in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast.
Parents are growing really dissatisfied with this process.
Tonight in Crisis in the Classroom, some mid-state families still waiting to find out if their child passed the TCAP retest. Third graders in our state have to pass that to advance to fourth grade. Well, they can take summer school, but in some districts that is already underway.
Well, Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller joining us live in North Nashville after speaking with education leaders who actually blame the state here. Caitlin?
Yes, we spoke with a few education leaders today who say that the state's timeline puts way too much pressure on local school districts to receive these testing results, turn it around, and then notify families about summer school. Now, these third and fourth grade students took the TCAP exam from mid-March to mid-April, but it took time to get the results. Those who failed were given a retest, and results came back on May 20th. J.C. Bowman, the CEO of Professional Educators of Tennessee, says that isn't enough time for school districts to determine which students need summer school. Mary Badawala, a former assistant commissioner with the Tennessee Department of Education, says the timeline puts way too much pressure on these districts.
Executing this process at a time in the year when school is coming to a close, teachers are heading out for vacation, it takes a lot of work, and it's not something that can just be done quickly.
Boatman believes the state could alleviate a lot of issues by changing the deadline and getting data back to the districts a lot sooner. Now, we did reach out to the State Department of Education to see if they would consider having an earlier testing period. We just reached out a few hours ago, and we will let you know what we learn. Reporting live from North Nashville, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Earlier in the newscast, we told you about our X poll where we were asking, should Tennessee schools be required to inform parents if their third grader didn't pass the TCAP retest before the start of summer school? 347 people weighing in, and almost everybody, 97.4%, say yes, parents deserve that information before they're getting it. Each night, you can look for a new poll on our X poll that you can take part in. Our thanks to all who took time to vote in this one.
Crisis in the Classroom is Fox 17 News' commitment to exposing problems in our schools and finding solutions. If you have a story that you think we should cover, send us an email to news@fox17.com. You can also call our tip line at 615-266-4149.
In Operation Crime and Justice, a Putnam County man tonight charged with possession of child sexual abuse material. Cookeville police busted 29-year-old Salomon Sebastian Juan Gaspar after receiving a cyber tip, that he had these materials and getting a search warrant for his place. Juan Gaspar now charged with sexual exploitation of a minor and tampering with governmental records.
Continuing coverage as Donald Trump is cashing in big on his conviction. The former president's 2024 campaign announcing that it brought in more than $38 million from nearly 500,000 donors, all in the hours following that guilty verdict in his criminal hush money trial. As Fox News' Mark Meredith reports, a big part of the political fallout is the fundraising and campaigning around the verdict.
One day after becoming a convicted felon, former President Trump re-embraced the spotlight.
It's a very unpleasant thing, to be honest, but it's a great, great honor. We're going to fight. A lot of people would have gone away a long time ago.
Today, Trump took no questions. Instead, he relaunched attacks on District Attorney Alvin Bragg, former fixer Michael Cohen, and President Biden.
These are bad people. These are, in many cases, I believe, sick people.
Cohen says Trump got what he deserved.
It's accountability. It's exactly what America needs right now.
Trump is due back in court in mid-July for sentencing, and while he could end up behind bars, so far that's not scaring off donors. The Trump campaign says it's already raised over $34 million since the verdict.
The fact is that we had so much traffic that it actually crashed our website.
As the money rolled in, Trump's potential vice presidential picks rushed to defend him.
The trial fundamentally was rigged. It was always about politics.
This is flat out wrong. Our country's better than this.
But Maryland Republican Senate candidate Larry Hogan, a vocal Trump critic, says it's important to, quote, reaffirm what has made this nation great, the rule of law. On Capitol Hill, House Republicans are demanding Bragg, who prosecuted the case, testify within 2 weeks. Bragg has yet to say if he'll accept the invite, but told reporters the trial was warranted.
I did my job. Our job is to follow the facts and the law without fear or favor.
8 Republican senators are vowing to vote down any of President Biden's judicial nominees because of this case. As for Trump, he does not have any rallies scheduled for the weekend, but he'll head to California.
Buyers.
Coming up this week on Full Measure, as our 9th season of Full Measure comes to an end, one of your favorite episodes, our end-of-season roundtable broadcast with our Full Measure correspondents. Scott Thuman and Lisa Fletcher join me to revisit some of our most popular stories, including our reporting on concerning and debilitating illnesses following COVID and the COVID vaccines, highlights from the 2024 campaign for president, and the Islamic extremist terrorist attacks in the Mideast. We'll look back at some of our in-depth investigations, such as the IRS whistleblowers who investigated the Bidens and had quite a story to tell, and questions about instigators at the January 6th Capitol riots. Hope you'll join us for a special edition of Full Measure.
And you can watch Full Measure and their investigations every week.
That's Sunday mornings at 7:30 right here on Fox 17.
A fresh reading on inflation, the PCE, Personal Consumption Expenditures Index, rose 0.3%, showing some improvement from March. Core PCE excluding food and energy, for the year ending in April held at 2.8%. Also, Americans made more in April. Personal incomes rose 0.3%, but we're pulling back on spending money. Personal spending rose 0.2%.
The consumer is under a tremendous amount of stress right now, and just because overall spending numbers are up does not mean that this is a healthy economy or a healthy environment for the consumer.
Gap making a comeback. The clothing company's earnings were sharply higher than Wall Street expectations. Sales at existing stores were up 3%. Sales declined the year before. Also, Gap is raising its forecast for the year ending in February. The Wall Street Journal says shoppers are picking up more store-branded products as they look to save. National brands still make up 78% of overall food and beverage sales in the U.S., but market research firm Circana says store brands are gaining. Last year, private label brands made up 22 cents out of every dollar spent in grocery stores. And you'll be seeing some deals at Applebee's and IHOP. Parent company Dine Brands is stepping up its promotions to bring in diners looking to fight inflation. The company says 28% of diner checks in recent months included a promotional deal. The $1 margarita deal is back at Applebee's. It has also been offering 50-cent boneless wings and a pancake of the month deal at IHOP. My favorite, chocolate chip. That's business. CJ Papa, Fox News.
In health news tonight, a growing debate over how decaf coffee is made. Tonight, critics are calling for a ban on the most common production method.
And as Fox 17 News' Janae Bowens explains, it uses a chemical that the government says can actually raise your risk of developing cancer.
The U.S. has got a complicated coffee controversy over decaf.
Studies show that 70% of consumers of decaffeinated coffee are pregnant women or people with health conditions, like heart disease.
Jackie Bowen with the Clean Label Project is working to ban the European method of decaffeinating coffee that includes a potential carcinogen called methylene chloride.
As a mom-to-be, it was just especially pressing and concerning issue that I wanted to take up on behalf of unborn babies as well as pregnant women.
The European method is the most popular way to decaffeinate coffee. The coffee beans are steamed and then rinsed with methylene chloride. The Clean Label Project, the Environmental Defense Fund, and others are advocating for the Swiss water process, which decaffeinates coffee without the potentially harmful chemical.
There is a lot of evidence on that. There is evidence that it causes kidney effects, liver effects, and at higher levels, it can cause neurological effects. So the question is, why allow this in your food at all?
The government has banned this chemical from things like paint removers. But on the other side of this decaf dilemma, experts say since the amount of the chemical in these cups of joe is so small, there's no harm.
It's affirmed as safe by the U.S. government as well as by the European Union, which has one of the most respected food safety systems in the world, and by other governments around the world. About 10% of American adults drink decaf every day, again, the majority of which is made using the European method, and there's no evidence of any risk to them from it.
If you're concerned about the things in your food that are going to make you sick, I would worry about, all the added salt that is in our food, all the, trans fats.
The government does limit how much of this chemical can be in decaf coffee at 10 parts per million, but the critics say the 1985 regulation is outdated and have petitioned the government to ban it. I'm Janae Bowens reporting.
Well, in your sports news tonight, a highly anticipated matchup has been postponed. Boxing legend Mike Tyson set to fight YouTuber Jake Paul at the Dallas Cowboys home stadium, but the 57-year-old fell ill on a flight last weekend and was met by first responders for what was said to be an ulcer problem. The fight would be Tyson's first professional exhibition since 2005. The new fight date has yet to be announced, but promoters say all purchase tickets will be honored for the rescheduled event.
Talking about a pretty soggy weekend ahead, it does include a small risk for severe weather on Saturday, which is why we're in our code red alert. Things now are quiet, but as we head through the overnight, I do see showers and storms starting to fill in. Rain around for the morning hours, and then as we head into the afternoon, more chances for showers and storms. It's not going to be raining all day, but there is a good chance you'll see some rain tomorrow. across the area. And then for Sunday, looking at the potential for a few showers and storms also. A few rumbles of thunder, but not expecting strong to severe storms for Sunday. And our threat for Saturday, it's low end. This is a level 1 out of 5, mainly along and west of I-65. And I think there will be some limitations in whether or not we end up seeing severe weather. Still, all modes would be possible. The tornado risk is very low, but it's not zero because we have so much spin in the atmosphere. So a little bit of rotation and a little bit of wind out there could help a few of these storms rotate. But again, I'd say that's a pretty low risk. Wind will be the primary threat that we're watching for. There will be limitations for tomorrow's severe weather, though. We're already working with little instability. Sometimes, though, we can see these storms, especially here in Middle Tennessee, overcome little instability if there's a lot of wind in the air, in the atmosphere, and that is the case for tomorrow. So that low threat lingers. As we head into the morning hours, rain showers will be around, and if they hang out through the afternoon, it would help lessen our severe risk, potentially stabilizing our atmosphere. So that would mean that our severe risk would be nothing as we go into the later part of the day. Let's hope that's the case for tomorrow morning and into the afternoon. Of course, the downside of that is we have more rain that's around for much of the day. So let's walk you through it. Future track is showing scattered showers mainly west of 65 as we head through the morning. Notice as we head through mid-morning, we do have most of that rain to the west. So for folks in McMinnville, Crossville, Cookeville, less of a chance for showers, at least the heavier rain, until we get into the later part of the day. Here's lunchtime, and then by 2 o'clock, pretty scattered across the area. Couple more of these will start to blossom more here, some heavy rain possible, and these would be ones that we want to watch for any isolated wind damage as well. Here's 7 p.m. scattered still, and again, where the higher threat for severe weather is where most of these storms are through 10 o'clock, and then into Sunday morning. We continue to see these showers around. Notice as we head towards Sunday afternoon, more of these starting to pop up. Again, severe weather not on the table for Sunday, but heavy rain may be possible in some spots between tonight and Monday morning. I think we could find 1 to 2 inches area wide across all of Middle Tennessee and southern Kentucky. So will be possible to see some of that spot flooding in addition to a very small risk for severe weather on Saturday. Our stormy pattern unfortunately continues. It'll be feeling muggy and pretty warm for the beginning of next week as well.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
In this image from the top of North Carolina's Big Bald Mountain, you can clearly see a rare phenomenon known as a Brocken specter. It's the shadow cast on the water droplets in the fog. To see it, you need bright sunlight and a cloud in the opposite direction. It's typically visible on a misty mountainside. It gets its name from the peak it was first observed on in Germany.
Want to see your weather photos and videos on TV? Click Chime In on this station's website to share.
And watch from all.
Well, the Tennessee Titans wrapping up OTAs this week as they get ready for mandatory minicamp next week.
As Fox 17 Sports Director Jill Jelnick shows us, while the Titans offense has been, really all the talk during this offseason, the Titans secondary got a major makeover as well.
Titans rebuilding their secondary this offseason, signing veteran cornerbacks L'Jarius Sneed and Chidobe Awuzie. Awuzie is very familiar with head coach Brian Callahan, having spent the last 3 seasons with the Cincinnati Bengals. But his favorite part of this new team? Defensive coordinator Denard Wilson. Awuzie saying that Wilson brings a certain level of intensity every single day and sets the tone on the defense. He says that Coach Wilson challenges every player on that unit to match his intensity, match his aggressiveness, so that when it comes game day, that transitions to their play on the field.
It starts with Coach Wilson right now, just setting a new defense, setting the standard. It's everybody's matching each other's intensity. Right now, he's the one who's really setting the tone in the meeting room. Then we got to come out here and match his intensity. At some point, us players, when we get comfortable with the system, we're going to be the ones setting the tone and the intensity, and the team going to have to match us. So we're still on that path, and it's a long road to be, but everybody has that same vision in mind, that aggressiveness, but we just got to get there. We far away right now, but we're going to get there.
Yeah, that guy's no joke. I'm not going to lie. He really come with aggressiveness. You can tell just from the meetings and on the field,
whenever we make a decision or we make a bad play, he's on our butt. Like he really into the game. You can tell he loves it, and he really competitive. And I feel like the plays and like the defense style he brings in is great for us because it's a whole new mindset, it's a whole new beginning, and I feel like that's great for us.
One familiar face that returns to the Titans secondary is cornerback Roger McCrary. McCrary enters his third year with the team and was a primary slot defender last year. Now, the Titans didn't have a lot of press coverage on defense last season, and that will change under new defensive coordinator Denard Wilson. Wilson promising a more aggressive mindset on defense with a lot more press coverage, which is something McCrary is excited to be a part of.
Yeah, that's one of the first things, like Denard said, his corner is going to press, his guys is going to be aggressive. We're going to attack them first, and I feel like that's what we need. I feel like the offense needs to feel that pressure on them, and I feel like that's great.
There's a huge need for guys to play that nickel spot in the NFL, the way the teams are. You're playing 60%, sometimes more of your snaps in your nickel defense, and he's involved in the run fit, which Roger is really tough and gritty when it comes to those things. So having those guys out there that sort of let him know that you can play this way and be successful is encouraging. So I'm excited to see what that brings for him.
Titans have been in organized team activities the last 2 weeks, which is voluntary, but we have not seen cornerback L'Jarius Sneed on the field yet. That may change next week as the Titans enter their mandatory minicamp starting on Tuesday. Reporting from Titans practice facility, Jill Jelnick, Fox 17 Sports, your Code Red station.
This is Kevin Hines, the Golden Gate Bridge behind him. He jumped off it in a suicide attempt and lived to tell. I'm Liz Bonus. His mission now just ahead.
Summertime, high temperatures, and health risks. All the things that come along with being out in the sun. We're sharing the best ways that you can avoid any heat-related health risks Monday on Fox 17.
Shop Ashley today.
In health news, a man who attempted to take his own life by jumping off of the Golden Gate Bridge in California is now an advocate for suicide prevention.
Well, Fox 17 medical reporter Liz Bonus shares how he survived.
Hey there, everybody. This is Kevin Hines. He now has a mission to help all of us, as his shirt says, be here tomorrow. He shared with us in a one-on-one interview how he continues to overcome challenges in his own mental health journey every day.
In the year 2000, due to bipolar depression, I leapt off the Golden Gate Bridge in an attempt to take my life. It was the single worst action I ever made up until that point, and a sea lion kept me afloat in the water until the Coast Guard boat arrived behind me.
At the time, there was less than a 1% survival rate in those who attempted suicide from the Golden Gate Bridge. Kevin was one of the advocates who fought for netting that is around it now. I spoke with him ahead of an educational event called An Evening of Hope. It was raising funds for Ohio's Linder Center of Hope, which provides mental health help.
A miracle that I'm alive today. One of the foremost back surgeons in the world was visiting the hospital. He wasn't even supposed to be there. He opted to do my surgery, replacing my shattered back with titanium, saving me the ability to stand, walk, and run.
Since then, Kevin has shared his recovery journey with thousands through his book, The Art of Being Broken, How Storytelling Saves Lives.
Every time I have a suicidal inclination or ideal, I find a mirror anywhere. I say my thoughts don't have to become my actions. They can simply be my thoughts. They don't have to own, rule, or define what I do next if they're dangerous to myself or others. And the second thing I do, and the most important thing I do when suicidal, is I turn to anyone willing to listen, and I say 4 simple but very effective words. I need help now. Suicide does not take the pain away. It makes it entirely impossible for things to ever get better.
If you do need someone to answer that call, Kevin and other mental health providers remind us you can call or text 988-24/7 for mental health help. That line available in both English and Spanish. It will direct you to support anywhere you live in the country. With your health news, I'm Liz Bonus reporting.
All right, Katie, get us ready for the weekend ahead.
We've got some showers on the way tomorrow. A couple could be on the strong side with wind as the primary threat. Otherwise, just kind of a stormy weekend, off and on showers and storms through Sunday and through much of next week. It's also going to turn a little more sticky, a little more humid with showers and storms through at least Wednesday.
Another reminder.